Hi everyone, welcome to the session Building Low-Code Apps for Microsoft Teams using the Power Platform. First of all, I would like to thank our sponsors Microsoft and Redgate for supporting this event. And also, I'd like to thank all the organizers from the Cloud Lunch and Learn team. My name is Michel Mendes and I am a senior consultant at Storm Technology. I have worked with Microsoft technologies for around 12 years. You can find me on Twitter, LinkedIn, or through my blog if you want. So what's up for today? We are gonna start the session with an introduction to Microsoft Teams and the Power Platform. Then, after that, we're gonna discuss what are the options for Power Platform apps on Microsoft 365. After that, we're gonna do a demo of how to create an app using Dataverse for Teams. And at the end, just a wrap up of the session. So what is Microsoft Teams and what is Microsoft Power Platform? Microsoft Teams is the communication and collaboration tool from Microsoft, which has become the hub for teamwork in Microsoft 365. Nowadays, people use Microsoft Teams to collaborate, have chats, call, and meetings. And also, it's important to know that Microsoft Teams runs on top of other Microsoft 365 tools, such as Exchange Online, SharePoint Online, OneDrive, Microsoft 365 groups, and not only that, Microsoft Teams can be extended through custom apps. And what is Microsoft Power Platform? On the other hand, Microsoft Power Platform is the low-code, no-code business apps application development platform from Microsoft, where we can build workflows using Power Automate, we can build apps using Power Apps, we can build chatbots using Power Virtual Agents, and we can use Power BI for reporting. Now that we know what is Microsoft Teams and Microsoft Power Platform, let's see what are the options for Power Platform apps on Microsoft 365. If we want to use Power Platform within Microsoft 365, but we don't want to pay extra licenses, we have what's called the seeded license. It is a subset of capabilities of the Power Platform, but it allows us to do a lot of things anyway. So let's just have a quick introduction to each. For Power Apps, within the seeded license, we can build standalone Canvas apps using the standard connectors. Although this doesn't allow us to connect to Dataverse or any Azure connector, it will allow us to connect to SharePoint, Exchange Online, Microsoft Planner, Microsoft Teams, Excel, OneDrive for Business, which is a lot of things. But if we want to have the Dataverse connector, now we have the option of using Dataverse for Teams, which grants us a license to use the Dataverse connector only for apps built inside of Teams. Also, the other option that we have to use Power Apps to customize Microsoft 365 is to build Microsoft lists or SharePoint list custom forms. For Power BI, if we don't have the E5 license, we can build only personal reports and dashboards. But if we have the E5 license, we can have the same capabilities as if we had Power BI Pro license. For Power Automate, we can build cloud flows using the standard connectors, which will be the same as the standalone Canvas apps. Or if we want to use Dataverse for Teams, we can build cloud flows inside of Power Automate on Microsoft Teams. For Power Virtual Agents, we don't have any seeded license without Dataverse for Teams. But now with Dataverse for Teams, we can enable Power Virtual Agents to be used inside of Teams only, with a max of 10 sessions per user every 24 hours, and we don't have the option to have custom Azure bot skills. So what is Dataverse for Teams? What's the big advantage of it? We can see that as last year, with the growth of Teams and Power Platform due to the pandemic, one of the things that people started to think is, if you are the whole day on Teams, why not build your apps inside of Teams? So Microsoft came with this new subset of Power Platform capabilities included with Microsoft Teams license to enable people to build their own apps, their own local apps inside of Microsoft Teams. So they basically build the apps, flows, and bots directly from inside of Teams apps. And what's the main advantage of Dataverse for Teams if we compare to the standalone apps? Most of the times people use SharePoint lists to store data for Power Apps or Power Automate flows, which works fine if you have the list very well architected, very well planned, all the indexes correctly configured. But the problem is there are limitations when you use SharePoint lists, because SharePoint lists are not a relational database. Like, you can't have unlimited lookup items from lookup sources. You can't have unlimited fields from certain types in a SharePoint list, which doesn't happen with the Dataverse. Obviously, you will have limitations as well, but it's way more distant than the SharePoint ones because it's built to be a relational data storage. So now, to build the apps using Dataverse for Teams, one environment will be created for each team where you install a Dataverse app or where you start to create an app or a bot. And each environment, and each Power Platform environment can have up to 2 gigs of storage or 1 million records per team. It's a lot of data, but if you reach that limit, you will still be able to upgrade it to the full Power Platform license if you want. At first, if you start building apps using Dataverse for Teams, it will be shared only with the team you started building the app. But you can share the app with one additional security group or another Microsoft 365 group or team. So now that we know all the possibilities for the Power Platform within Microsoft 365 and where Microsoft Dataverse for Teams fit, let's explore some options. To start building any app using Dataverse for Teams, first of all, we have to have the Power Apps app installed on Teams. So if you don't have it installed already, you can find it on the Apps option. You search for Power Apps. Install the app. And I also recommend that you pin the Power Apps app into Teams. So how do we get started? We can see that, first of all, we have some templates built by Microsoft to help speed up if you want to reuse them. So you have some app templates to be reused or edited if you want. But let's see how to create an app from scratch. So you just click Start Now. You select what is the team that you want to start creating your app, which means the database and all the artifacts for the app they are gonna be stored inside of this Teams environment, this Teams team environment. So I just select my team CLL Marathon and click Create. If it's the first time you create an app using Power Apps under your environment, it will take a bit more time to load, but I have pre-created something here to speed up. So let's call it Incident Reporting. Okay. One advantage that we have when we create the apps from Power Apps inside of Teams and using Dataverse for Teams is that we can create our tables directly from inside the Power App. And after we create a table, it is going to be linked to the gallery that we have here and to the form that we have at the moment. So you see, we have here this gallery, this form, nothing is connected yet. And as soon as we create a table, it's going to be linked automatically. So let's create a table called Incidents. Let's just rename the first column. Instead of being name, let's rename it to Incident. Let's add more columns to create our incident table. First one is going to be date occurred. We select the type date. Next one is going to be impact of type choice. Now we need the description of the incident to add more details to it. Let's increase the size of the field also. 1,000 characters should be enough. And we can also add a column to store the incident status. As soon as we close our table, we can see that the table is going to be added automatically to the gallery, linked automatically to the gallery, and the form added to our app. So we can change the layout of the gallery to use a simpler one. Okay, no pictures, just text. And if we play the app, we are able to add a record to our Dataverse table. So now that we saw that our app works, to start using it actually inside of Teams, we have to save it and publish to Teams. So when we hit publish, we are going to be prompted to what tab do we want to add the app. So I'm going to add the app to my tab General in my team CLL Marathon. So if I head back to my CLL Marathon, we can see that just by publishing it from Teams, it adds the app to the general channel. Okay. Another thing that we can build also on top of Dataverse for Teams is not only the apps, but we can build flows and integrate different applications using flows. So for example, we can get data added to a table in Dataverse for Teams, and then we can send it as a Teams message to someone. Now that we created a table, linked it to the app, and tested it in the preview mode, let's just go back to the Build tab and create a simple workflow just to notify us whenever a new incident is added. It could be added by someone else, and the creator of the app will get a message on Teams. Just head back to Build. Go to See All. And from here, you select the option Cloudflow Automated, because it's going to be running, detecting an action automatically. We skip it and search for the Dataverse connectors. Select the new Dataverse connector. Set it to detect, to be executed only when a new item is created from the incidents table. Set it to business unit to get any record added, to detect any record added. A new step is just send a message to Teams. There's a lot of options that we can see here, but we are going to get post a post a message as the flow bot to a user. It's going to send directly to one user. From here, we can add the content based on the record that was just added and select it on the dynamic content from the flow. We give the flow a proper name. Save it, and it's ready to be executed. Another interesting setting that we need to double check if we intend to share the app with an external team is to check the app's permissions. So basically, we have to enable the users that we share the app with to be able to see the data in our tables. Let's say that we wanted to share the app with a group of people that are external to our team, like they should be another team or Microsoft 365 group. First of all, we have to tweak some permissions in the app. So it's just a matter of going to see all the artifacts inside of our team, select the table that we want to share the data. First, we click Edit to change the settings. And inside of here, we have the option Manage Permissions. By using the Manage Permissions option, we can see that at first, members and owners, they have full access to the table, which means they can create, read, and update any record. Guest access would be able to see only their records and update and change whatever they create. And we haven't shared it with anybody yet, but as soon as we select this option and we enable that if we share the app with a team, we want to grant them private access again, so they can just create records and don't see anything else other than their records. Let's see, we enable it, save the table. As soon as we share the app with another team, they will get the set of permissions that we assigned here. So if we go back to Build, select our app, click Share with Colleagues, we can share it with another group. At first, it's only our team because we haven't shared it with any other team, but let's share it with another group called Consultants. This is a team and Office 365 group that exists in the tenant. We save it. Now the app is shared. And let's switch to the view of a person inside of the consultants group. How do they see? How do they add the app to their team? If you want to add the app as a member of the team that got the app shared with recently, there are two ways of doing it. One is finding the app through the team's app store. So like you go to apps, search for apps built for your tenant, and you can find it below apps built by your colleagues. So here you can see any Canvas app built by your colleagues. We could select the app, select Edit to add as a personal app, or select Add to a team or Add to a chat to add it as a team tab. The other way of doing it would be navigating to the team that you want to add the app. So in our case, Consultants team, click Add a new tab, select Power Apps, and below Power Apps, you can filter all the apps that you have access to. So you search below All Apps, and you can add it to the tab. You can see that we don't see any record because we don't have access to other people's records, but we can start adding new records. The record was successfully added. So now let's switch back to the view of the owner, of the creator of the app, to see if he got notified when the new record was added. We can see that now a notification arrived. Let's see. So the flow worked, and as soon as another user added a new incident, we got another message here. Now that we saw how to build an app connecting to Dataverse and a flow connecting to Dataverse, I'd like to show an app which I built previously, but in this time it's not an app connecting to Dataverse, but an app that connects to other Microsoft 365 apps, but using the parameters sent by Teams. So in this case, we can see we installed this app in the developers team in the general tab, and the app detects which is the tab which is the channel it is installed, which is the team it is installed, what are the Giphy settings for the team, what are the planner plans for the team. If we select a plan, what are the tasks for that plan? If we change the plan, we can see different tasks for a different plan. What are the team members by using the Office 365 users connector, and what are the channels for the team. And via this app, we can send a message to the team. So for example, say hi team. If we switch back to posts, we see our new recently sent message. Also, we can create planner tasks from the app. So we can open here, create a task, and assign it to someone. And we can see that as the app detects the context that it is installed, if we change to another team with the same app installed, we will have different results. Like in this team here, the consultants team, we can see that it detected that the app doesn't allow using Giphy. The plans are different. Tasks are also dependent on the selected plan. Team members are other people. Team channels are other channels. And not only the Giphy settings, but we can see more settings related to teams thanks to the Teams connector. And also another parameter that is sent to the Power Apps installed in Teams is the current theme that the user uses in Teams. So if we change the theme, go to settings, dark, and if we refresh the app, it's gonna get the dark theme. So how do we do the trick to get the parameters from Teams into the app? All the parameters are passed into the app as query string parameters. So we can manipulate them using the param function. And both more important to us at the moment are the theme and the group ID. Based on the theme and the group ID, we have the variable called appconfig, which stores the theme for the app and the data for the theme. So we do some calculation to check which is the theme, and according to the theme, we change to different font colors, different background colors, different button colors, that theme property. And also, same idea, we retrieve which is the themes object related to that theme thanks to the Microsoft Teams connector. Theme role, we can just do a simple calculation to see which is the theme role based on the parameter and see if the user is an owner or a member, because if it's 0, it means it's an owner, otherwise it's going to come as 1, it means it is a member. And the user device comes already as a string, we don't have to do anything with it. And how do we get the data from Planner, the team members, and the team channels? We have added to the app the Planner connector, Office 365 Groups connector, Microsoft Teams connector, and Office 365 Users connector. Based on the group ID, we can retrieve what are the plans for that group. Based on the selected plan and the group ID, we get tasks for that plan. Based on the group ID, we get the members for that group. And for each member, we use the Office 365 users connector to retrieve the picture. And for the Teams channels, the idea is the same. We get all the Teams channels for that Teams with the group ID being the one that we set up when we started the app. And to send a message and create planner tasks, the idea is similar. Simply, when we go to the send button, we will be able to see that I just get the data related to the channel that I selected, my group ID, and the content of my controls to send a message to the user I chose. Same idea applies for the planner. If we click to add a new task and we check the code used in the send button, it will be using all those parameters anyway. So we simply see that we're using the planner connection, the planner connector to create a task using the selected values. How to set up the colors. As we set up the theme for the app, in every label of the app, instead of defining the color manually, we are just associating it with a variable app_config theme and the properties theme font color, theme.font color. Same for the background color of the app. For any screen of the app, the background color is defined to be associated with a variable, which means whenever we change the theme, whenever the app starts again, the variable gets a new value, and then the app changes its color. And we can see that not only apps connecting to SharePoint or Dataverse for Teams can be created, we can actually extend Teams and integrate the apps better by using the proper context and parameters that Teams send to the apps to make our apps more intelligent and look like Teams native apps. Thanks everyone for watching, for participating. And don't forget to follow Cloud Launch and Learn on YouTube and Twitter, and share your love with us using the hashtag CLL Marathon. Thanks very much.